Darcei.
A lot of you guys have been wanting me to talk about this for a long time. I'm gonna take my VDL primer to prime my face today. So I feel like this topic only comes up because I'm black, which is totally understandable. Like, I doubt any other K-beauty blogger gets asked this. I watch so many other K-beauty bloggers who aren't Korean, but they're still Asian. So no one asks them these kinds of questions. Even if you're not Korean, but you're still Asian and you're doing K-beauty content, no one's gonna question it. No one's gonna ask you about race, and Koreans aren't gonna throw racial slurs at you either. I'd say even the white ones get off pretty easy, but because I'm black, there's another layer to it. And I'm still pale AF, so we're gonna mix my NARS foundation in Macau with the VDL in A06. I think that's okay. It looks fine, it's fine. So in light of recent events, a lot of you have witnessed firsthand the kind of racism that I have experienced since I started doing Korean beauty reviews. And hatred not only from anonymous strangers on the internet, but also other influencers who aren't anonymous. And so because of this, the question of are Koreans racist started coming up a lot. So first of all, I want to say that I think it's extremely unfair to say that everyone from a certain ethnicity or nationality is racist. And secondly, I want to say that the way that I was raised here in Canada is completely different than the way a Korean would be raised in Korea. Over the last few months, that is extremely evident to me. This was actually a really good mix of the foundations. Wow. So if you ask black people that have actually lived in Korea, you'll get a mix of experiences. Obviously, some people are going to say that they had an amazing experience. Some people are going to say that it was so-so, that they had some bad experiences and some good experiences, and some people are going to say that they faced blatant racism. So there's this episode of Hello Counselor, and I just want to say that Hello Counselor in itself is extremely questionable. There are so many problems with Hello Counselor in the first place that it could have its own entire video, but ain't nobody got time for that. So we're just gonna talk about this one episode where a Nigerian man went on the show to talk about his experiences with racism in Korea. Now I'm gonna put on my concealer, my Born This Way sculpting concealer in the color Maple. Anyway, so this guy, he comes on Hello Counselor. He's a Nigerian man and he's been living in Korea for 9 years, and he comes on the show to talk about his experiences with racism in Korea. And the first thing that happens, even before this man comes on the stage, the show host reads out like his story, you know, his intro story. And the host decides to read out his intro story in like this Neanderthal dumb voice, like he's some African bushman who can't speak Korean. And everyone is like like he's some dumb African. So he comes out and tells all these stories about how women are afraid of him, and the hosts keep trying to brush it off, saying like, oh, like you're really big and muscular, and like maybe that's why they're afraid of you. And that ties into the whole like Black Hyung, Black Nuna thing, which I'll get into a bit more later. And it's so hilarious because this guy is talking about how people are afraid of him, and he literally looks like a baby deer. Like, he looks like a man baby. And he takes off his hat too, and they're like, oh, you're so cute without your hat. Like, maybe it's just the hat, and like maybe just don't wear the hat. Why should him wearing a hat make him look scary? Like, what? Seriously, like, take off your hat and people won't be scared of you? Like, are you serious right now? And one of the Koreans on the show was talking about how he went to South Africa and he was really scared that like everyone was gonna have guns. For those of you who don't know, like Korea like doesn't have guns. Like, they don't have gun violence in Korea. So he was really scared that like the people there in South Africa were gonna have guns and it was gonna be so violent and scary. And I'm guessing that this comes from American media, because American media is just bruh. American media and the portrayal of black people, it's always guns and violence and aggression, and everything's just so frightening. And I'm not American, so the way that Americans are portraying themselves in their media is honestly scary to me too. So honestly, that was kind of understandable. And like once he actually went to South Africa and he saw that the people were nice, then he was just like, he got over it. But I think we just really have to be mindful about what we see on TV and not believing everything that you see. I have been privileged enough to grow up in a place where there's lots of different cultures, and so I have a less preconceived notions about other races because I've grown up around them, and I know that not everyone is the same and not everything is like how you see on TV, but not everyone gets to grow up with that kind of experience, unfortunately. So like, I get it. It's simple misunderstandings that are happening here. But also there's a difference between simple misunderstandings and being blatantly, disgustingly racist. I'm gonna use my Morphe spray real quick. Anyway, so Lee Michelle was also on the show, and she talked about her experiences being a Black Korean. And she told a story about how she was in grade school. She would be playing with her friends, and her friends' parents would tell her friends not to touch her. You know, just more proof that racism is learned. Little children will play with whoever until their parents tell them to be prejudiced. I'm gonna pull out my multi-pots because I'm obsessed. So I'm taking the Diatema one, the nude one, the like peachy nude. This one, ooh, because I'm going for like a brown natural kind of look today. Anyway, so the Nigerian guy goes on to talk about how he has a girlfriend. He has a Korean girlfriend. She couldn't be on the show that day because her parents didn't know that they were dating, and she was pretty sure that her parents would not approve because he's Black. There are just so many messed up things in this video. I'm gonna link it down below so that you guys can watch it later, but it's just no. The whole thing just felt very sympathetic, but not empathetic. It was kind of just like, wow, bro, that sucks, but and a lot of people in the comments were really mad at Michelle for sort of kind of brushing it off and saying that like it's not a big deal and that like it's okay if people don't like you. And I understand that it is different when someone doesn't like you because of your personality or whatever versus someone not liking you because of your race. But I think what she was trying to say is that those people like aren't worth your time, and it's not worth your energy worrying about people like that, because there are so many people who do love you and who do appreciate you. Focus on those people and not on the people who don't like you, because like what's the point, right? But at the same time, I get like literally he was trying to find a place to live and someone wouldn't rent him a room because he was Black, and he's afraid that he's not gonna get a job when he graduates because he's Black, and like those are very valid concerns. Those are basic human rights. He lives in a place that seems to systematically discriminate against people who aren't Korean. And I totally get what Michelle was saying, because I have personally wasted a lot of time being angry at people who will never like me, who will never understand me. And honestly, I am tired of standing up for myself. At some point, you just have to ignore it. And if that makes me a pussy ass bitch, then I guess I'm a pussy ass bitch. So I'm trying this new bronzer. It's not a bronzer. It's a it's a setting powder. It's like a pressed setting powder, but I'm trying it as a bronzer. It's from Morphe. Are we using code James again? I don't know. Anyways, so I came across this YouTuber named J Kim, and I think he does videos on like Islam, but he actually made this video about how Korean men feel about Black women. And in the video, he touched on the whole Black Hyung, Black Nuna thing. Until recently, until maybe like last year, I didn't even know that this was a thing. Maybe it wasn't a thing until last year, I don't know. But basically what I got from the video is that Koreans think that Black Hyung, Black Nuna is like a sign of respect, you know? Like, because calling someone your Hyung or your Nuna is a sign of respect, but it's like attaching the Black to it is what is offensive to most black people in Korea. And people find it offensive because it's like, why am I your Nuna or your Hyung because I'm black? Sometimes I wonder what Koreans would think of me because I look a lot younger than I am, and I'm also really, really tiny. I'm smaller than most Korean girls, so I wonder if they'd still call me Black Nuna. And this ties into the club culture as well in Korea. Like, I've heard a lot of stories from black women who go to clubs in Korea, and I want to emphasize that these are stories and not my personal experiences. These are just things that I have heard, but mostly these stories involve Korean men. I'm gonna be using this soft and gentle highlighter today. But mostly these stories involve Korean men approaching black women in the club. And like, I get it, it's like a club and like you're here for like, you know, questionable activities, but even outside the clubs, black women are approached by Korean men just for, you know, one night stand kind of things. They don't want a serious relationship with you. That's not what they see you as. They see you as this stereotype of this promiscuous, very sexual girl, and you know, not like the typical Korean girls that they see you. And in his video, Jay was talking about how Korean men like more feminine women. You know, like the docile princess that does whatever they ask, kiss their feet, I don't know what they do. And that black women don't fit into that stereotype. So they aren't interested in relationships with us, but the gag is, don't nobody want your bigoted ass anyway, Minho. For eyeshadow, I'm gonna be taking this palette that I just picked up. It is the Halaka Star Luster palette. Look how beautiful this is. Totally untouched. So excited to use this, guys. Oh my god. I'm just doing, like I said, a very brown neutral look today. We're gonna start off with the color Evening Star. This one right here. Ooh. Oh, look at that. Oh. Anyway, so Koreans are really influenced by American entertainment. Honestly, American entertainment is pretty much black entertainment. Koreans love Beyonce and Rihanna, and they love hip hop and R&B. K-pop is very heavily influenced by black American artists. They love our hairstyles. They love the way that we speak. They love the way that we dress. But they're still afraid of black people, and they still love to treat us like we're some sort of exhibit in a zoo. I'm gonna go into Star Night next. I don't know if I liked Evening Star. It came off a lot darker on my lid than I thought it would, but we'll see. Like, literally just this morning, I was on Twitter and I saw this video of, I don't know what Asian country it was, but there was this beautiful black girl, and she was in some sort of Asian country, and these Asian ladies all wanted to take a picture with her, and one of them had her hand on this girl's boob and was touching her hair and smelling her hair and tried to kiss her. It was so weird. Like, I find that so weird. Honestly, y'all are so weird. And I don't know what it's like to grow up in a place where everybody looks like me. So maybe if I had seen a Korean in the wild, I would have pulled out my binoculars and started talking like Steve Irwin too. I don't know. But this seems to be a running theme in these homogeneous countries in Asia, where it's like they see a black person and they just can't help themselves. They just have to take a picture. I gotta touch it. It's just the weirdest thing to me. Like it's another human. Like, what? It's not an exotic animal. It's another person. Huh? And like, there's no such thing as personal space. The culture is just so different, and like things that are seen as totally innocent in Korea are seen as blatantly, disgustingly racist here. And it's just so wild to me that they can't see that. And it goes the other way around too. And because it's so different, we always butt heads. A lot of Koreans really hate my channel. They think it's disrespectful and that I'm making fun of them. I review makeup. I'm not always going to like the makeup that I'm reviewing. But if I say anything bad about a Korean brand, it's like Koreans take it personally. Like, they take it as a personal disrespect towards Korean people when I'm just evaluating a brand and not a race or not a people, but just a company. Like, I can't say anything bad about Korean makeup because it's seen as disrespecting Koreans themselves, which obviously is not my intention. Here where I come from, we separate ourselves from our companies. If you want to diss a Canadian company or a black owned company, go right ahead. I don't know her. I think the idea of what is racist and what isn't is just wildly different. I don't know what else this look needs, but it needs something. I'm gonna put a little bit of color because I don't know. So I'm just gonna put in some Midnight Sun, which is this. It's like a nudie pink kind of. So it's not like color, like I'm not trying to like make this super colorful or anything. I'm just trying to figure this out, okay? It's the first time I'm using this palette, okay? So I didn't grow up around a lot of black people. I was one of 4 black people in my elementary school. Out of those other 3 black people, 2 of them were related. They were brother and sister. I learned my first Korean word in the 3rd grade when a classmate taught it to me. I cannot repeat the word because it was a swear word. And my homeroom teacher in the 8th grade was Korean. I grew up around a lot of different cultures, so sharing cultures and talking about other cultures and being involved in other cultures, it was normal. It was a thing. I remember we had to do projects about where we were all from, like where our families were from, and I had to do a project on Guyana, and we got to all learn about where our families were from and about the countries and the cultures and the foods, and it was just so fun. So I got to learn about countries like Korea at a young age. This is before I ever learned about K-pop or anything. As a child in grade school, I was learning about other cultures, and Korea was one of them because we had lots of Korean kids in the class. I'm gonna grab my Too Faced Just Peachy palette because this is not chocolatey enough for me, you know? Like, I need more chocolate. So I'm gonna go into So I'm gonna go into Peach Tart. The browns in this palette are just like super cool tone, and they're coming off 2 cool tones. So I'm just trying to warm this up a little bit. And I'm not trying to pull a like, oh, I can't be racist because I grew up around Korean people and I have Korean friends. Like, no, because I have a firm belief that everyone's a little bit racist. And by that I mean that everyone has their own prejudices, ideas in their head, and stereotypes about things. But what I'm really trying to say is that I grew up in a place where cultures are constantly being shared, and it's okay to talk about other cultures and be involved in other cultures. That's just how I grew up here, and it is very specific to where I grew up here, not just Canada as a whole, but I grew up in Toronto. It's extremely multicultural here. In other parts of Canada, it's not the same, so I can't speak for all Canadians or anything like that, but this is just my personal experience growing up in this area. And I grew up around Korean people who never hated me because of the color of my skin. My experience with Koreans in Canada is completely different to my experiences with Koreans born in Korea that I have encountered online. A bit of a strong brow today because I feel like this strong topic requires a strong brow. There's so much more that I could say about this topic, but my camera is gonna die. But y'all know what to do. Y'all know that there's a comment section, and y'all can talk about this all day because I know you will. I'm gonna put on some mascara. This is my roller lash that I have been obsessed with. I'm gonna do a nude lip, so for lips I'm gonna do my chestnut liner and then follow that up with New Nude, which I just picked up from 3CE. It's their lip tint. So, do I think that all Koreans are racist? Of course not. But I do think that Korea has a systematic racism problem, and that's almost inevitable in a homogeneous country, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be fixed. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section down below. I know it's gonna be a little crazy down there. And a lot of people might think that I'm just sticking my nose where it doesn't belong, but I personally feel that this has affected me personally and my people, so I feel like it kind of is my business. Everyone has their own opinion. Leave it in the comments down below, okay? Anyways, guys, I hope you liked this look. I will see you in the next video. The topic for this video was actually picked on Instagram, so if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you better do it now because that's how I pick the topics for my Get Ready With Me's. So definitely follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys in the next video. I love ya. so much.